Hey, welcome back to Lorehammer. I'm your host, Mark, and you're listening to another Astartes Armoury. You didn't think I could do it, but here we are, part 3 of rare and retired vehicles. I didn't think the Horus Heresy had that many vehicles to it. Like, I didn't realize how many different scales of tanks, honestly, they had. Fuzz, we did an episode together and just talking about the Sicarians and the Kratoses and like level ups. I didn't think there's so many Horus Heresy tanks.
Yeah, every like kind of niche you would need it to be, and it seemed like there was a variant for it.
Yeah, and I do love that because it's not like the other factions in 40k get that level of attention, but
yeah, some of them look super
what it
cool
is.
too.
Yeah, well, Fuzz is also joining me today for another episode of this, and we got Gerald. Hey, welcome.
Hello. You can't keep me away that long.
Yeah, it has been a minute. Welcome back. Gerald had tech priest duties to attend to on Mars, so he's back with us now, though.
Absolutely, and I only banged on the Lorehammer security door like maybe for 12 hours straight.
Oh, that's not bad. Come in, please.
Let me back in.
Please. Well,
I would say we'll always let Gerald back in. We can never keep you out for too long.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we got a fun episode. I actually do love the Astartes Armoury episodes, and I can't wait to do. I've been asked, are we doing Imperial Guard Armoury episodes? And of course we are. Of course. And Guard, we'll do Eldar, we'll do Tau, we'll do them all, man. But before we do this episode, just some quick housekeeping. Hey, look at the video and look at Fuzz's fresh muscle shirt. Goddamn. Do you want a muscle shirt like that says Lorehammer? You can't have those muscles. Those are accounted for by the wife of Fuzz. But you could have that shirt. You could probably even buy that shirt off of Fuzz, to be honest. But
everything I own has a price.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to buy your own Lorehammer merchandise, go to Redbubble. There's links in the description below. You can click through a couple links and find where to buy t-shirts, blankets. You could have a Lorehammer blanket and pretend that like I'm underneath it with you, like make a little Mark-sized lump in there. You can do whatever you want. It's your merchandise. I don't care. So go to Redbubble or the links in the description below.
If you want to support the show monetarily because you like listening to us goobers talk about Warhammer 40k all the live long day, come join the Patreon. For $2.50, you get ad-free versions on Spotify because ad-free is excellent. And then for $5, you get access to the live stream where you get to see all of our beautiful faces. And then, of course, all of Fuzz's merchandise. The shirt is nice too, but we know what we're all really here for. Come on.
Yeah. It's no Quartz Reliquary Corner or whatever he kind of calls it with banners and pendants, but it's still something. And then Logan has something that's just outlandish where it's like, are you an Asian person, Logan, on the inside? You got a lot of weeb toys in there. But hey, we all have our own kinks.
Yeah, I did used to stream from my dining room where I've got my like nice Game of Thrones swords hanging up on the wall.
Nice. Yes.
Maybe I'll move back. Maybe I'll move back in there one day.
Yeah. A nice non-verbal threat if you have enough swords on the wall or guns. All right.
Once you've joined the Discord and once you've gone from the Discord and joined the Patreon and gotten all of that, you can, with that Patreon, get access to the live stream where we've got our chat going. If you want to watch us, it has a lot of benefits because when you're listening to the show, a lot of times we'll talk about images that get pulled up and reference those. And being on the live stream lets you get to see those as well as be part of the chat, have your questions answered, comments addressed. We'll laugh at you. You can laugh at us. It's a good time. And then if you have something to say and you want to be a call-in guest, let us know. And at the end of the show, if there's time, you can be on and give us your thoughts, deepest feelings about the topics that we've been discussing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do want to hear that because, like, I don't know everything. So I like to hear when people tell me about the tank PSI. I learned so much. I got so many different opinions on tank PSI on threads, if that was even important. Sometimes people would call me insane. I don't know. But
let us know if we're wrong. If there's something we got wrong, be on the live stream, be a call-in guest, let us know.
Yeah, don't be afraid to tell us. Our egos are only so fragile. Come on. We can. We're grown ups. We're grown men. We can handle it.
I can take it. Just don't say I paint minis bad. That will fucking break me if you say that.
Oh.
Yeah, no, Mark. Those eyes are fucked.
Hey, that's just
Nice.
normal.
All right. Well, this episode, let's get into it. Rare and retired vehicles, the final part 3. Today, we're going to be covering flyers, specifically the Stormbird, which is a bigger Thunderhawk, really, which is crazy. But I guess that's standard for 30K stuff. Everything is just bigger and more guns. And then we also have the Anvilus pattern Dreadclaw and the Kharybdis. That's a fun word.
Kharybdis, yeah.
Yeah, I'll put that in the chat so people can see. The Kharybdis Assault Claw. So basically, 2 Horus Heresy era, Great Crusade era drop pods, a smaller one and a big one. Pretty cool, though. They have some uses that a normal drop pod doesn't have. And then we'll talk about tunneling vehicles, something that happens in 30K, probably happens in 40K, but we don't really see it ever in action. And we'll be talking about the Termite Assault Drill, which is like this underground tunneler Astartes used to use. And I'm sure they could still, but like I said, we just don't really see it happening. And then finally in this episode, we'll be covering the lore-only Astartes vehicles that have been mentioned. There's like 15, there's 20 of them. And they're just like one-off sentences. Maybe they have a paragraph of information. I think only 2 or 3 of them actually have a picture. But it's a fun kind of homage to just what was and thinking about, okay, so they used to have this and this and this, and then what happened to it? Are they upgrading or is it lost tech? Sometimes you can kind of decipher that. And yeah, we'll get into it as we get there. But going to be a fun episode.
This is all looking glorious. I'm looking at the names of the lore-only stuff, and I'm just like, I'm liking these names here. Like Mauler, Hephaestus, Wrath, Hercules. Who puts the glad in Gladiator?
Yeah, the Lotus.
All right.
The Apis, yeah, some nice ones in there for sure.
The Mantolith. I don't know why the Mantolith just sounds like it's going to be a beast.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like a manted monolith or something.
Right.
I don't know.
So cool.
I'm here for it. Let's find out.
I am all here for this. Hell yeah, man! All right, rare and retired vehicles. Across 10 millennia of unending war, countless vehicles have served within the arsenals of the Adeptus Astartes. Some earned legendary reputations through centuries of faithful service, while others gradually vanished as newer designs proved more effective or easier to maintain. Many of these rare machines survive only in small numbers, preserved within the deepest armories of ancient chapters and deployed only in times of great need. In some cases, the standard template construct, also known as STC, data required to manufacture them have been lost, rendering every surviving vehicle irreplaceable. Others have fallen out of favor due to changing doctrines of war, while a few have been abandoned entirely after being adopted and corrupted by the forces of chaos. Whatever their fate, these retired relics remain enduring symbols of a bygone age, carrying with them the victories, traditions, and tragedies of 10,000 years of Imperial warfare.
Yeah, very cool. So often have been doing these Astartes episodes through like the lens of loyalists and not so much through trader lens. Although there has been the odd vehicle that we do that with. But it is fun going through them and like just thinking which ones the traders kind of prefer, which ones they don't, and how they actually had a bunch of the cool old tech, like the Sicarian, like the high-tech old tech, because Horus was like divvying up those specialty tanks or whatever to specific people, and just going through and just like, okay, who has more of these, I wonder? Spartan assault tanks? Are those more loyalist things or traders? I don't know.
Yeah, there's even one, I think, that was specifically developed by Mortarion for the Death Guard too, so like they're probably the only ones that have that one.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's some of those type of ones. Yeah, the Primarch specific, their personal vehicle that they need something done. So so there's all types of rare and retired vehicles. Each one is pretty fucking cool though. Like they have this like World War II, but also high tech look. Where I think the high tech comes from like energy coils, but also sometimes they just add round turrets and stuff on top.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the look of them is generally really cool.
Oh,
all right.
Absolutely! Like the blocky design and like the brutalist futurism involved in it. Like we get fusion, but they're still belching out like belching out oil and diesel, and it's just
Yeah.
I honestly have not been able to stop looking at this tank for like since we mentioned
Oh,
it. The
dude.
Sicarian Thunder.
it
Yeah,
is so cool.
Yeah, I showed that to my wife. It was like, I want to get this tank just to make it and build it, not even to use it.
Yo, I think it's Father's Day this weekend.
It is. I'm actually,
Cough, cough, hint, hint.
Yeah, cough, cough, hint, hint, wife.
Plans.
Yeah, this tank is fucking tight.
Yeah, that
very
or like
cool.
the Kratos one. One of those like variations on the tank will be
Very
mine.
cool.
But
Yeah.
besides tanks, we've got a lot to talk about for flyers today. The Astartes aircraft deliver unmatched mobility, carrying warriors and firepower across vast distances in moments. From atmospheric interceptors to heavily armed gunships, they ensure control of the skies and rapid deployment of forces. The Stormbird, it was not a single craft, but a revered lineage of super heavy assault landers that bore the Legiones Astartes into war during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. These mighty vessels served as the primary means by which the Space Marine legions descended from the heavens, delivering warriors into the heart of battle amidst fire and thunder. Beyond their role as assault transports, Stormbirds fulfilled countless duties across the battlefields of the Imperium. They carried armies between worlds, provided devastating aerial support, and stood as indispensable instruments of conquest. Forged from an ancient and incomplete standard template construct, the Stormbird existed in numerous classes and patterns, each embodying a fragment of a long-lost technological inheritance. Before the rise of the Thunderhawk gunship, the Stormbird was the cornerstone of the Legion aviation. Void-capable and immensely versatile, it could serve as an orbital dropship, assault lander, gunship, bomber, or even a fortified firebase once grounded. From orbit to war zone, it carried Astartes and war machines alike beneath a storm of covering fire. Larger and more heavily built than the Thunderhawk, certain patterns could transport an entire company of Space Marines or vast quantities of vehicles and material. Crewed by Astartes, trusted serfs, and weapon servitors, these armored behemoths were engines of a relentless war. Though many patterns have vanished into history, accounts speak of folding wings, armored viewports, powerful engines, and launch systems capable of hurling the craft directly into the void. So yeah, this thing just like fucking rocks. To put it succinctly, I guess.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah,
And,
it
like-
carries what was an entire company of Space
Entire
Marines.
company.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, and like it's massive and it's still like fast and like pretty nimble. Like it still is kind of like an attack craft. It's not like a heavy bulk lander or something like that.
Yeah, it's not like the landers that you would like be carrying like a guard regiment in.
Yeah.
I think that what stands out to me that I really like is the lore of it being from an incomplete STC. It reminds me a little bit of, I forget which tank from our last episode, Mark, but there was one of them that it talked about the mechanic is pulling different parts from different STCs to like make their own new one. And this reminds me a little bit of that, where they have this incomplete one. So they just kind of like an incomplete DNA strand that you're adding on different bits to evolve it into different things that you need it to be.
Yeah. And you look at some of these pictures of and by what we were reading too, you learn that Stormbirds have a bunch of different variants, and these variants change wildly. Like, so they were tweaking and making like, okay, let's use this little STC part from over here and see what we kind of come up with. So it might have kind of the same wing pattern or hull pattern engine, but like everything else might be swapped up. But I pulled up this picture here. Like, this is a Stormbird as well as like your standard kind of GW plastic Skullcar Stormbird.
Okay.
And
They
people
just so
freak
many
out.
guys know that.
And people freak out when you just see one Space Marine drop pod and know that Space Marines are around. Imagine the reaction just seeing a Stormbird releasing an entire company.
Yeah, shit. I never even thought about that, eh? Yeah.
And also, And also certifiable court double nerding. Anytime or when y'all were talking about just cannibalizing different STCs, I was thinking of Jurassic Park the whole time. We're Jurassic Parking these Stormbirds here.
A double nerding thing I was thinking of was between it and StarCraft, incidentally, where it was talking about it is also like when it lands, it becomes its own fortress. And just thinking about like playing StarCraft and being able to have your base of operations just lift up and fly to different locations. Just this mobile mobile battle fortress can just pick up and move wherever it needs to be on the battlefield as it shifts. It's got to be just immensely helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like this does have a bunch of heavy bolter like turrets on it, and then a bunch of like those bubble turrets on the side. They got 4 of those bubbles. I also like the Tau Manta missile destroyer. That thing has 18 burst cannons on it, I believe, which are like Gatling cannons.
Yeah, Mantas are fucking no joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I like that idea. Like you're saying, you got this this mobile fire base that you can move it if you need to, but once it's like kind of landed, it's now your operational kind of headquarters. I pulled up a couple other variants. Like this is an old school variant as well. And then there is one other variant that has kind of these kind of, what would you call these? Not helicopter fans, but like
that's kind of what they are, though.
Yeah, they're rotors of a fan.
Yeah.
Okay, here I'll do a double nerding. I'll do Marvel. They have their flying
the helicarrier.
I don't know. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so those type of engines. So they do have one of those style of aircraft as well, but that one's been lost.
Triple nerding. This right here, that image right there makes me think of the Hornet from Halo 3 and onwards.
Oh yeah,
it has a very similar shape.
Absolutely, I can see that.
Yeah, except just 10 times the size. But yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
this thing's carrying a fucking Bane blade.
Yeah, jeez,
Love it. All right. The history of Stormbirds traces its lineage to the ancient Warhawk and Neperos assault transports. Mighty warcraft first unleashed by the Yandonisic bloc during the unification wars of Old Terra. When the Emperor forged his Legiones Astartes, these venerable machines were adopted into service, replacing the aged Skylands gunships that had carried his earliest warriors to battle. Throughout the Great Crusade, Stormbirds descended upon countless worlds in the vast numbers, bearing Space Marines into the fires of conquest. Void-capable and heavily armored, served as enduring engines of war, carrying legionnaires from orbit to battlefield through storms of enemy fire. Many of the oldest legions held these ancient craft in the highest regard, maintaining them across centuries of warfare as honored relics of humanity's rise to the stars. As the Crusade advanced, however, the Imperial fleet increasingly turned to smaller and more easily produced Thunderhawk. By the final years before the Horus Heresy, the Stormbird had largely passed from common service, though select examples remained as magnificent transport reserved for Primarchs and other figures of immense importance. Though long vanished from most Imperial arsenals, the Stormbird endures within the fleets of certain trader legions, a thunderous relic of forgotten age, yet many believe that the ancient armories are reopened and lost war engines reclaimed. These mighty vessels may one day soar beneath Imperial banners once more. So that last little line was just a little bit of, so the Stormbird is for traders. If you're going to see them in 40K, it's going to be the traders who have them, where they can kind of negate the 10,000 years of not building them or repairing them by having just time warp fuckery. Doesn't have to be.
Honestly, you can't repair it by normal mechanical means. You're just gonna grow some flesh plating over where it was ripped apart, and it's gonna stitch itself back together.
Yeah, shit. I can't find this nut and bolt. Well, guess I'll cram a demon in it.
Right.
Fix it.
Just imagine it's Chaos Tech Marine Hellsmith just trying to work in a wrench or whatnot, and you got like the giant maw just like trying to eat him from the outside.
Oh yeah. I forget what that ship was called. We talked about in the last episode, but it carried 6 tanks, but it was heavily armored. the Space Marine like carrier, maybe.
Oh.
But it said that thing made planetfall within like 30 seconds. So you can use that kind of as a rough reference for the Stormbird as well. Like that's pretty cool. You get from orbit to planet side in 30 seconds. You jump in, no one has any time to react. You could do that, and then you got Space Marines on your doorstep.
So that sounds really fast.
Yeah.
Talk about coming in hot. Like, you know, they're burning up in the atmosphere getting down there in that 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't even have to open the transport doors. It just melts away from them, and then the Space Marine falls the remaining like 10 feet, and they're fine.
Yeah. Just for like a random reference, because I was curious. So going from like orbit to making landfall in 30 seconds, the most recent like space mission with the Artemis 2 re-entry took them about 13 minutes or so. So a lot faster.
Okay.
I mean, that was also like, you know, using gravity and whatever. But I mean, even so,
yeah. That's so funny. I love that. Yeah, so this thing, yeah, like that's no time to respond. It's coming in and it's delivering a company of Space Marines, including a tank, to fuck you up. And maybe some dreadnoughts. You gotta have a dreadnought in there.
oh,
Of
yeah.
course. Of course. I just had another double nerdy moment. In Doom Eternal, you're trying to get onto Mars, but it's like defended or whatnot. So you have to go on an orbital defense platform with the BFG 9000. The entire defense platform is one BFG. You load yourself up into it, and you're going on, and you're getting into Mars one way or another.
Nice. That's
So.
nice.
We're gonna be double nerding all over the place tonight, folks.
Oh, I imagine.
It's in my
I did have
hand.
a thought. Check my beard. Check my beard.
Get it. Oh man.
And I did have a thought too. A lot of these older things belong more so to the Trader Legions. So theoretically, not the GW would ever approve of this. You could take a Horus Heresy tanks and just put them in your 40k Chaos Army, and it could still technically be right.
In theory, yeah, it would still be lore accurate for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and anyone who's gonna stop you, you send them to me. I'll set them straight.
Send them
There
right
we
to
go.
Panama. Buy him a plane ticket to Panama.
All
One-way
expense
trip.
paid. By who? But yeah, well, that's part of the benefit for sure. You only have to pay one way. Here's another cool Stormbird. I've seen that one before, but it's cool when it's a real mini and not just artwork. And then once again, we got the cool helicarrier engine style, which is very like abnormal for Space Marines. Really, I can see why they kind of got rid of that version.
It does strike me as something that you would see more in like the Guard as opposed to the Space Marines.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you just throw one Iron Man in this turbine and it fucks the whole thing right up. Just imagine if Space Marine fell into that. Your whole engine's fucked. Okay.
Oh, Space Marine will be fine.
Either Space Marine will be fine, but your engine will be messed up. Yeah.
So, Brother Check Marine, I had a very close inspection of those engines. Yeah, they're kind of fucked up.
They're kind of fucked up. We know where 97% of it are.
Over there, and up there. Okay. Let's talk about some uses. The following is a list of notable uses for the various Stormbird classes. Void and atmospheric transportation of troops and cargo. The Stormbird could carry infantry, vehicles, combat walkers, cargo, and important individuals from starship to starship or to a planet's surface. So these things are void-borne too. That's pretty cool. Void and atmospheric assault transport. The Stormbird could be used to land forces into the launch bays or onto the outer hulls of enemy starships or land forces on a planetary surface while under fire. Pretty good.
I did look that up. The Space Marine landing craft, it's called, and it goes from like cargo bay of a void ship to the planet in 20 to 30 seconds. So even better than what we thought.
Jesus fuck.
Jesus.
So fast.
And I know it's just 40K numbers and it's nonsense in the first place, but
I love it.
It's canon. It is in fact canon, despite whether we believe it to be true or not.
I mean, yeah, the numbers, like the ridiculous numbers, is one of the best parts of 40K. Yeah, it's like fucking work.
Fuck your
It's
laws
like that-
of physics.
It's like that perfect sweet spot of just sounding completely awesome, but then also making any kind of like math nerd or physicist nerd rage.
Yeah, we talk about the authors and writers of 40K, these old British gentlemen, and not like these like 8-year-old boys that they often write like too, which is fine. That's the charm of 40K. I want big, tall, muscly men.
Hey, the three of us were all 13 once, so
I want
At least once.
peace.
oh boy. Okay. Ground force fire support. The Stormbird can use its various weapon systems to support Imperial ground forces during combat, including during an extraction. I mean, talk about an immediate extraction there. 30 seconds down and back, you're good to go.
I mean, yeah, honestly, that's got to be such an incredible use for it. I mean, 30 seconds down, drop your ramp. The Astartes are going to be loaded up in probably another minute or less, and then you're fucking out of there.
Yep, and then they run out of ammo within 2 minutes, but the planet is conquered in that 2 minutes, and they're right back up, and they only had to work for 15 minutes.
Right.
Not bad.
Yeah. So after that, it could be also used as an assault bomber. The Stormbird could be outfitted with macro bombs for surface bombardment and orbital uplinks to call down a bombardment from orbiting starships. Like the idea of a macro bomb, like a bomb's already real fucking big. Like just a real life bomb is already real big. And it's not a macro bomb, it's just a bigger version of that bomb. Like,
yeah. Like you can go fancy, you could be like, this is a nuclear bomb, lots of science involved in that. Or you could just get a lot of TNT.
Right. I love that just like macro bomb just means big bomb. Like how on like the big void ships, they have, you hear the term macro cannon a lot. A macro cannon just means a real big fucking gun that's like shooting, like it's shooting shells that are the size of like a fucking aircraft carrier at other starships. I mean, that's what it is. And again, 40K scale is the best. So like, how big is a macro bomb? As big as it fucking needs to be. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
As big as it needs to be.
This is the other thing I was talking about. Was really cool for this. It could be used as a bastion or fire base. So the Stormbird, once landed, could use its various weapon systems to protect disembarking forces and provide additional firepower against enemy forces near the landing zone. Some Stormbirds could divert unused engine power to extend their void shields outwards to provide additional protection to ground forces. So yeah, like if you were a company coming in on the Stormbird, I mean, it could just be your initial fire base to carry out your mission from.
Yeah, perfect. I love that idea.
Yeah. And after that, they could also be used for Medicaid duty. Some Stormbirds were converted to be used as medical craft and were outfitted with medical equipment such as gurneys, Medicaid machines, and many other medical tools. And these craft had armored bucket seats that lined the craft's fuselage, where apothecaries and other Medicaid personnel would sit during flight. So they were more, again, this was like probably arguably the most support version of this craft, where they would have, apothecaries, but it sounds like, but also non-Astartes medical personnel, so they could be used to treat anyone. Just there'd be a giant flying triage hospital.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Which makes me think then they also probably have like a tech-based version of this too, a little.
Almost.
You drive your tank right up inside. It fixes up, does your little oil change. You drive the tank out the front end with like a new battle cannon on the top. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, like in real life, I'm imagining like driving into one of those big like military, like drive your tank into one of those big military transport aircrafts, and it's got those like lifts like your mechanic does. It lifts your car up, just fucking working on everything. Yeah, I mean, some of the fucking tanks we talked about have had those tech priest variants, tech marine variants, with
sure.
like the big claws on them. So there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't have a Stormbird. Yeah, like you said, that is just a big mechanics bay inside of it.
And it'd be cool too. Like we know one ship, the Thunderhawk transporter, will actually go around and pick up drop pods. But like if you had the tech forge version, you could have like a huge servo arm on top that like flies around and maybe picks up tanks that have been detreaded or blown up and now just salvaged. So you have kind of like this flying tank with a big arm, but you could also pick up other things like war walkers and drop them a mile.
Oh, I think it's a great idea. I love that.
Fucking tight.
Like
That's
vultures
kind
on
of
the
fun to think
battlefield.
about, kind of like the scavenging side of war, and kind of like, okay, so you've unleashed war. How do you recollect everything that you've just dropped? And yeah, that's a fun way to do it.
Bunch of manpower vultures, basically.
Yeah. Another role that has is funerary duty. Some Stormbirds were used for funerary duty, scouring the battlefield for fallen Astartes to return their bodies to the bosom of their legion. And even that's a crazy thought too. Like, you need that big of a ship. How many dead Astartes are you picking up? Like, piles of dead. But 30K, that's how she roll. And we got personal transport. A Stormbird was the go-to transport for personal transportation during the Great Crusade, as its imposing size would ensure all the eyes were upon it as it landed. These craft were used during the time to transport the great Primarchs himself, some even possessing personalized spacecraft with symbolic heraldry and even specialized upgrades or weapons. During the Horus Heresy, former Death Guard battle captain Nathaniel Garrow used a personal Stormbird provided by Malchor the Sigillite to crisscross the galaxy in search of potential Astartes, drawn from all of the Space Marine legions, loyalists and traitors alike, who remained loyal to the Emperor and willing to destroy any threats to the Imperium. These Space Marines would later become the Grey Knights chapter and the Chamber Militant of the Ordo Malleus. Like his own power armor, after he entered the service of the Sigillite Garrow, Stormbird was a uniform gray with no Legion colors or insignia markings. It just seems like it's now used for like ultra special things, or any Primarch's going to use them for transport. Like, I bet Reboot Gilliman in current 40K might just have one of these for his personal transport, or the Lion might as well. But
I was thinking that earlier. Like, there's no way Gilliman or the Lion wouldn't have one of these lying around still.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like, with as much as they talk about the Dark Angels having in their vaults for old tech. Yeah, if Lionel Johnson does not have one of these, I would be very surprised.
Yeah. I like.
Absolutely. And hearing about Nathaniel Garrow, he's honestly, like, the stuff we do know about him, or from like the Horus Heresy and whatnot, he sounds like a Chad. He sounds like a Chad.
Yeah, they definitely wrote him very fun. Not fun, but like, yeah, very, you like him. He's a fun guy to be around for sure.
Can't wait till we get to learn about him when we talk about Death Guard soon.
Yeah. I actually did start writing notes for that today, so we're getting closer. There can't be any more Astartes Armoury episodes. It can't be.
Well, you just made a certain Jackson a triple gaff very, very happy. So, and shout out to any other of you Discord members who are also Death Guard fanboys.
Yeah.
Before I get started into my section, Looper Cal did make a very funny plot point. Imagine the Tech Marine having beef with a Dread, and the Techie using the biggest power lifter he could just to mess with the Dreadnought.
He's putting him
just picking up your Dreadnought, like, who's a little baby?
Put me down.
Who said Warhammer couldn't be funny?
Yeah.
All right. Transport capacity. Among the many Stormbird patterns, the mighty Warhawk class was launched from vast magnetic rails housed within the cavernous hangars of Legion warships. Hurled into the void with thunderous force, these ancient craft departed through colossal blast gates shielded by gravitic fields that preserved the vessel's atmosphere against the emptiness beyond. Within crowded launch bays, their wings could be folded for storage until the hour of war. Though the capacities of most patterns are lost to history, the venerable Sokar pattern could bear warriors, dreadnoughts, bikes, artillery batteries, and even a rhino transport into battle.
Nice.
Yeah, and this one, the way it carries tanks and dreadnoughts, unlike the Storm Raven or like any of the other variants that we've kind of talked about, this one carries it on the inside of its hull, fully protected. It's not like some exterior crane harness arm or anything like that. Grab lock.
Yeah, because in the past, like some of the stuff I've read, like some of the books have had them almost like attached to the back of the ship, whether it's like mag locked or ratchet strapped or whatever.
It's just ratchet strapped. Yeah. Oh my god. But the ratchets have little skulls on them, so it's totally 40K worth.
Of course.
Yeah, but this one, it's so big you can drive those or walk those right up inside.
Right. So those things are big and they can carry a lot of stuff, but what kind of guns do they have? So the Stormbird carried a fearsome arsenal befitting one of the Legiones Astartes' most revered war machines. Its armament commonly consisted of turret-mounted twin las cannons, multiple heavy bolter batteries, and powerful dread strike missiles capable of shattering enemy formations. Encased within layers of dense ancient armor and protected by formidable void shield generators, the Stormbird could weather punishment that would destroy lesser craft. These shields could be extended over disembarking warriors and vehicles, while alternative configurations allowed the vessel to carry devastating macro bomb payloads or direct precise orbital bombardments. So yeah, this thing, it seemed like it had a lot of good standard like las cannons, bolters and stuff, and then it could be given some specialty things if you're going to do like targeted orbital strikes and even with those shields to be able to make that base when it landed.
Yeah. I love the look of those autocannons on the side of them. You got these 4 like guns pointed out the side. So cool. You do lose that like huge, like the Thunderhawk has that huge gun on top. You do lose any type of major artillery support like that, which is kind of cool for the Thunderhawk, but this has a lot of other style guns. So
yeah, definitely more than makes up for it.
Yeah.
I already said I was interested. You didn't have to sell me on it.
Yeah, if you hear the price of it, you won't be interested. GW sells this for like 1,500 USD or some such.
I mean, might as well buy a Manta in that case, because I think that's about the same price.
Exactly. Fuck. No, I think the Manta is double that. Well, maybe not. Maybe what I was looking at was back in the day, and I was using Canadian cheap dollarinos, and that's why it was so expensive.
Good thing I am on GW's website right now.
Okay. Well, you fact check that. Find out the most expensive model.
Alrighty.
Atticus says is both Angron and Russ prefer entering battle aboard a Stormbird.
That checks. I mean, that checks. The Manta is in American dollars $2,080.
Nice, tight.
Yeah, the Stormbird is $1,580. So yeah, it's $500 more to get a Manta.
The Manta does come with like 4 tanks and like 8 crisis suits, but still. What the hell? Why would they make such sweet models so expensive? How am I ever gonna afford that?
Right, and when in general, you're never gonna use it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It becomes just solely just a paperweight, which I would do if it was a couple $100. Fuck, even $500. I've done some outrageous things, but now I'm a dad. I can't just do that.
Right.
All right. So we got
perspective. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
I was gonna say to put it in perspective. The next most expensive 40K model is a Mars pattern Warlord Titan, just the body, not including the shoulder-mounted guns or the arms, is 1,955 American dollars.
Yeah, those Titans are huge.
Yeah, I used to own one of those bad boys, and you know how much I sold it for? Like
probably not enough.
Jeez. Not near enough.
No, man. I was in Calgary. I had dump my army. I'm like, well, it's either that or give it to a homeless person. I guess I'll make $200. And that kid who bought it had no fucking idea what he just got himself into. He bought like a Warhound and like 4 knights off me. And he's like, I don't even know what Warhammer is. It's pretty fucking funny.
What?
I'm looking. I'm looking.
Yeah, like I ran into him at like I went to a tournament and I had my army as like an auction or whatever, and he won it. And yeah, he never played. He was there doing like Yu-Gi-Oh cards or something like that.
Hopefully he plays now. Or,
Oh my god.
something.
Yeah.
Or you at least better put that thing in a display box and just have it in a nice shelf.
He
Nothing
seemed the
else.
type, based off his body type, to be the type to cuddle it to bed. It's the only form of emotional support that he could have.
Yep.
That or his Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and he's not crinkling those things. He's not
No.
risking them sticky.
Mm.
I like
I'm-
Plain Jane's comment. Way to get them addicted young, Mark.
Yeah, honestly, that was one of my crowning achievements because he had no idea. And then, like, what was wild too, like, sorry to kind of derail, but so now this kid who took transit there had a warlord titan and like a bunch of knights, and he's like, I need a ride home. So I drove this kid home, and like I was just like, and when I say kid, like, I don't know, maybe 16. I don't know.
I mean, that's
old
a
enough
kid.
to
Yeah,
take
like
it-
a fucking kid.
Yeah.
But it's-
still a kid, still
Yeah.
too young for me to be driving around. But what do? I had to make sure my warlord was gonna get like home and not drop.
Oh,
on the C
sure.
train. And then,
like, what a fucking way to just skew somebody's view of what $200 will get you in Warhammer.
Oh
Like,
boy.
oh,
it was
good
fucked, man. It was
gracious.
fucked.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyways, so we got a bunch of different variants of the Stormbird, as mentioned. The Stormbird was one of the few widely used Imperial vehicles that was not based upon any intact standard template construct or STC design. As such, the Stormbird had many different patterns and variants. The following is a list of all known designated Stormbirds.
Well, we have the famous one that the very expensive $1,500 Sokar pattern Stormbird. The Sokar pattern, I'm saying that right? Sokar. The Sokar pattern was a revered super heavy assault lander of the Adeptus Astartes, an ancient Stormbird variant whose service stretched back to the age of the Great Crusade and the fires of the Horus Heresy. Built to endure the fiercest war zones, it functioned as both an orbital assault craft and a mobile fortress, delivering Space Marine strike forces directly into battle while withstanding immense punishment as warriors and war engines surged from its holds. Its armored frame mounted all-round weapon turrets, dense battle tank grade armor, and powerful void shield generators capable of sheltering disembarking forces. Multiple thruster arrays ensured that even under severe damage, the mighty Sokar could continue its thunderous advance through the skies of war. And I was taking a look at the other games under GW's website. Nothing comes close to the cost of the Mansa or the Warhound Titan or the Sokar Stormbird. Like Age of Sigmar, the most expensive thing is like a battle force at $250. I mean, this is all American dollars for you, dear listeners. Old World, same thing. Most expensive thing there. Okay, sorry. A Bone Grinder Giant for $245 American dollars. Middle Earth is Smaug at $695.
I need to look at that. Shit, I've not really looked into the Middle Earth stuff much, but that sounds like it'd be fucking fun to have.
I mean, yeah, he's a big boy. But yeah, like the most expensive stuff is the Manta from 40K, and then the Mars pattern Titan body, and then the Sokar Stormbird. So
Yeah, I feel like all the parts for a Warlord Titan is gonna be more than a Manta. Like you're probably gonna be at least $2,500 American probably.
well, I tell you what, when you can read your section, and I'll do the math on that in the
Love it.
background.
Yeah. I also asked
So-
the chat how much a 3D printed Warhound Titan is, or Warlord Titan is. I imagine it's probably under $500, but maybe somebody goes on 3D cults or whatever.
Yeah, it might depend on how much like infill you have on it and like the kind of material that you're making out of it. But yeah.
Interesting.
But anyway,
yeah.
So the history of this expensive bitch. The mighty Sokar pattern descended from the ancient Warhawk and Nephoros classes of Stormbird assaultlanders. Warcraft first employed during the bloody unification wars of Old Terra before being taken into service by the Emperor's nascent Legiones Astartes. Among the many Stormbird variants forged during the Great Crusade, the Sokar emerged as one of the final and most refined patterns, a revered vessel whose legacy would ultimately influence the development of the more numerous Thunderhawk gunship. Unlike many transports of its age, the Sokar was conceived not merely as a means of conveyance, but as a flying fortress of war. Designed to spearhead orbital assaults, it could descend through fire and devastation to deliver an Astartes strike force directly into the heart of battle. There it would endure punishment that would destroy lesser craft, holding its ground as warriors. Dreadnoughts and armored vehicles thundered from its assault ramps to seize and secure a landing zone. Its massive hull-mounted weapon turrets covering every approach, allowing the vessel to unleash relentless fire in all directions. Layers of dense composite armor, rivaling that of the Imperium's heaviest battle tanks, encased the craft, while powerful void shield generators projected protective barriers around both the Stormbird and the warriors disembarking beneath its shadow. Multiple engine clusters granted remarkable resilience, ensuring that even with severe damage, the Sokar remained airborne. The roar of these engines became infamous across countless war zones, their thunderous howl heralding onslaught and conquest. Among many Imperial soldiery, the vessel earned the grim title of the Deathbird. This thing makes me think of a little bit too. So, like, it to the Thunderhawk is kind of like either you could argue either the Thunder Warriors or the Custodes are to the Space Marine Legions. Like the Custodes are a more, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're a more refined model. But the Astartes are easier to mass produce, kind of like this versus the Thunderhawk.
Yeah. And like, you almost don't want to put that many assets into one ship. Like, just imagine one of these bad boys go down in 40K and you just lost half a company of Space Marines, as opposed to a Thunderhawk, which would still be devastating to lose.
Oh, yeah. But you're losing like 5-10 guys.
Yeah, not as many. Yeah, I like that kind of comparison. Like, it just ultimately is too much technology to make this thing useful. And it's a different scale of war nowadays.
Mm-hmm. A different scale of war. And also just like what the amount of assets that a chapter can, realistically bring to bear. Like, that proportionality. Because, like, a company to a legion is kind of like, an assault squad to a chapter these days. Like what would fit on a Thunderhawk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys used to have 20-man squads or whatever, as opposed to even just 10-man. Like, just right off the bat, everything's just bigger. You would fit 20 boys inside that Rhino, inside that Storm Boy. Bird.
Right. You have your Astartes in the Rhino, in the Stormbird, in the fucking like strike cruiser.
Yeah, no. You have Astartes in power armor, and then all switch.
Yes, there you go.
There you go.
Now we're there.
That is a 40K nesting goal right there.
Right.
Now
the Astartes Matryoshka. I like it.
There we go. That's the word I was thinking of. Who wants to get depressed with some math real quick?
Yeah, always.
While Fuzz was reading, I was looking up this bad boy. So, okay. For context, if you go to GW's website, it's under the Horus Heresy. The Mars Pattern Warlord Titan body does not include the head, the tilt shields, the shoulder-mounted cannons, or the arms. That's $1,955. And then looking at all the parts, let's see here. You got some laser blasters that go on the shoulders. That's $240. The head and the tilt shields is $132. I picked out a gauntlet that was $205. And then for the other arm cannon is about $180, and you get a few variations that are each $180 for a whopping total of $2,712 American dollars.
God, that's so much money. Yeah.
Do you really need that kidney, dear listener? Do you really need that kidney?
Right? You might be able to buy a shitty used car for that much money.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck. And I sold that thing for $200. What have I done? Yeah, this is I pulled up on the screen for anyone watching. This was the model that is no more. It's gone. Along with most
looks
of those
so
knights.
good, dude, too.
Thanks. Yeah, with a lot of these knights, kind of all went to that guy, that poor kid.
Lucky bastard.
Very cool. Let's go back to the old Stormbird. Yeah, that's a lot of money for the Warlord, but as a previous owner, I can say it was not worth every penny. I used a Russian recaster and got for half the price, which was still like atrocious for a model,
That's
but it was
so much money. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I was young. I was in love. What do you do?
I like Plain Jane's comment. It's a storm turducken. It's like all the things inside the other things. Oh, that's good.
Storm turducken. That's so funny. All right, the armament of the Stormbird, the Skokar, descended from the ancient Warhawk and Neperos assault landers of Old Terra. The Skokar pattern was among the most revered Stormbird variants of the Great Crusade. Forged as heavily armored orbital assault craft, it served as a flying fortress, delivering Astartes strike forces directly into the fiercest battles while enduring punishment that would destroy lesser vehicles. Built to establish and hold contested landing zones, the Skokar would unleash devastating firepower from its weapon turrets positioned across its massive hull. Dense armor plating comparable to that of the Imperium's heaviest battle tanks shielded the craft from enemy attack, while powerful void generators projected protective barriers over disembarking warriors and war machines. Multiple engine clusters granted exceptional resilience, allowing the vessel to remain airborne despite severe damage. Their thunderous roar became infamous. Yeah, very cool. Some void shields this thing has. That's always so cool. Just launching your enemy's shots and attacks into the warp to piss off some demons. Take that, Corn.
Great.
All right.
Yeah,
how many things can this
honestly,
hold? Speaking of the turducken, Gerald.
Yeah.
Let's say let's hear how many things this can actually hold into it, since we're talking about like what all fits in there.
Okay, transport. Perfect timing right there. The venerable Sokar pattern possessed the capacity to bear 50 Astartes, including jump-equipped assault brethren, rapier batteries, battle bikes, and jet bikes, carrying them into war beneath the roar of its engines. This sounds like a White Scar favorite. It could also transport dreadnoughts of any pattern, each sacred war relic occupying space equal to roughly 10 warriors. These ancient engines of battle could embark and disembark only through the Stormbird's mighty primary assault ramp. As part of its standard complement, the Sokar could also carry a single Rhino armored carrier while still conveying additional warriors within the vehicle as stealth. So again, another 40k turducken.
Yeah, I like the Warthogs are a very cool real life plane. So that's 50 Astartes like on jet bikes, or I'm wondering if that's 50 Astartes and jet bikes.
No,
So
I think that's just solo, like 50 power armor guys. And then you can take one tank as well that has 10 guys. So you can have 60 Astartes in this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the versatility though of what it can carry is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that pattern. We got some other patterns, and a lot of them don't have any images or anything, but they're still cool, man. Give you a little creativity.
Yeah, these will be some shorter blurbs. So we've got the and her pattern Stormbird. This was a transport class of Stormbird used by the Dark Angels during the Great Crusade, capable of landing super heavy tanks. The Apophis pattern Stormbird. It was the largest Stormbird pattern, widely known for its ominous appearance and vast wingspan, which earned it the title of Sun Killer, I'm guessing because it would blot out the sun when it would be coming down. During the Battle of Prospero, the Space Wolf Legion used 30 of these monstrous aircraft. The Condor class Stormbird was a more massive and less agile pattern than the Warhawk class. It was used by the Sons of Horus Legion during the Battle of High of Ilium. I just jumped into Mark's section. Apologize.
No, that's nice. I'm like trying to pull up images and they just pull up the same one over and over.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You ever just read the last one? I've read almost all yours too. No.
Oh, good. The Conso pattern Stormbird was one of the largest Stormbird patterns used to transport Space Marine Legion vehicles. During the Battle of Prospera, the Space Wolf utilized 100 of these. Whoa, okay. That's a lot of fucking Space Wolves. Good for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
want to steal one of mine, Mark?
Yeah, sure. I'll read this comment first. I love you all, Gerald. I give you a big wet kiss on the forehead. Right on the forehead for Gerald. That's nice. That's the energy we need right now. Now I feel like we can continue reading about the Skithkari. No, we're doing the Nephorios class Stormbird. And this was one of the original assault transport classes utilized by the Yendonesiac bloc during the Unification Wars on Terra. No other information, though, is known about it. Now you know just as much as we do.
The more you know.
Yeah.
And then we got the Skyrie pattern Stormbird. During the Legion Wars fought within the Eye of Terror, after the Traitor Legion's failure to overthrow the Emperor during the Horus Heresy, a Skyrie pattern Stormbird was used by the Chaos Lord Thegus Derigic as his personal vehicle. I think you mean Derevic. Yeah. Thegus Derevic. That sounds right. I could be wrong though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just goes into what we're talking about. Since the Stormbirds aren't really made anymore, that's why the Traitor Legions are going to have them and use them more.
Yeah. And the final pattern we have is the Warhawk class Stormbird.
So the Warhawk was the most widespread and enduring of all Stormbird patterns, an ancient assault transport whose origins stretched back to the Unification Wars of Old Terra. First employed by the Indonesiac bloc and later adopted by the Emperor's growing legions, it became one of the foundational warcraft of the early Great Crusade. Records speak of at least 4 recognized marks of this class. The mighty Warhawk possessed folding wings that could be drawn tight against its armored hull while secured within the cavernous launch decks of Imperial warships. Vast, thunderous, and heavily built, the Warhawk 4 was capable of bearing up to 100 Astartes into battle. Its troop compartment contained... Yeah, it's so many. Its troop compartment contained rows of rear-facing assault seats fitted with weapon-locking mechanisms to secure war gear during transit. Heavy restraint systems locked each warrior in place before deployment, releasing automatically upon touchdown, though manual overrides existed for emergencies. The entire seating arrangement could be removed when required, transforming the cavernous hold into a transport bay capable of carrying vehicles, munitions, sacred war material, or other specialized cargo demanded by the relentless campaigns of the Legiones Astartes.
Wow, 100 Astartes. That's yeah. Planet conquering force just on one ship that if you take down, but you probably can't because it's got void shields and stuff, and it moves so fucking fast. And you probably can't target it. Like,
this thing fucking rips. Going from orbit to landing in 30 seconds. This thing is, almost assuredly transporting faster than the speed of sound. Like, you just
just like this the space marines on the inside.
This thing would show up before you hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a great thought.
Like, I don't know. Mark, have you ever been to an air show where a supersonic jet flies over your head.
No, I'm from Canada. You know, that's not very eco-friendly there of you, but you're gonna have to take a time out.
It is really something just to like
Yeah.
watch something fly by you, and you can tell and hearing the little bit of lag of the sound following it.
Mm-hmm.
What a trip.
Go to any public park and on 4th of July. Ooh, yeah. And they'll bring one of those fighter jets over. You see it before you ever hear it.
Just come visit us during the 4th of July sometime, Mark. You'll have a good time. I think you would legitimately have a lot of fun.
Man, if your country would have me, I'd just live there. I'd live in one of your back alleys, or I'd buy a home if you'd let me. I'll do whatever America tells me to do. You want me to go fight overseas? I'm already overseas, kinda. Let's get it done.
You're overseas fighting all of the jellyfish and alligators and monkeys in Panama and the snakes.
Yeah, man. Keeping this side of Panama free for U.S., but that's neither here nor there. Stormbird, let's carry on. We're done with that one. Let's do the Anvilus pattern Dreadclaw. Drop pods, man. They're very cool. These ones look so aggressive and like teeth. Like it's gonna bite ya.
I'm getting weird arachnophobic vibes with this.
I was thinking the same thing. It looks like it's gonna land and then just start crawling around.
Oh! I don't like that at all. Fuck. And then it's got this little like mouth butthole thing on it underneath.
Right. Just shits out Astartes onto the planet once it gets there.
Oh god. You know, every time a fly lands, it shits. You know, every time an Anvilus pattern Dreadclaw lands, it shits in Astartes.
Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah, either way, you're not having a good day.
Not a good time.
So the Dreadclaw was a revered assault craft of the Legiones Astartes during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. Unlike conventional drop pods, this ancient war machine possessed the rare ability to return the warriors to the skies after deployment, allowing it to redeploy warriors across war zones or extract them from the battlefield once the mission was complete. It was feared. Its most feared role was void warfare. Shaped like a descending talon, the Dreadclaw would attach itself directly to the hull of enemy vessels before employing powerful melta-cutters to breach the armor and unleash the warriors within. Long vanished from Imperial arsenals, the Dreadclaw endures among the traitor legions. Its appearance remains an omen of slaughter, earning it the grim title of the Touch of Death among the voidsmen and naval crews. So that those leg things are just clamps, so when it hits into the side of a ship, then they clamp down, start melting beaming on the inside.
Yeah, and the aggressiveness definitely fits with the Traitor Legion still using it. Like they wouldn't have to really do anything to it to make it look like a Traitor Legion vehicle.
Just give it the appropriate color scheme, you're good to go.
And I just had another. Go for it.
Go ahead, Mark.
It's cool. This one too, like the way you get out, like as we mentioned, is only through the bottom. I'm just looking around the hull. I'm like, oh shit, it doesn't have any doors on the side. It's like no drop down kind of flaps. But I guess why would you need those if it's like primarily like a void thing? They just eject you into space. Like, wow.
Yeah.
I was having another image.
Not like this.
Space Marines in space.
Space.
But with the latching on the void ships instead of the arachnophobe vibes I was originally getting, now I'm thinking of like lamprey eels or the dragonfish from like the sea floor and all that stuff.
Yeah, anything with the mouth parts that just clamp onto you. Yeah.
Like leeches. And now a little bit of history. First deployed during the Great Crusade, the Anvilus pattern Dreadclaw became particularly associated with the Sons of Horus. Okay, that fits. Who employed these fearsome assault craft to hurl warriors directly into the fiercest battles. I don't know why I'm just getting like, go long! Just chucking space marines.
Well, it is like that, man. Like honestly, like void warfare, you're shooting them like potentially hundreds of thousands of miles. Good luck, brother. Could take you 20 to 30 seconds or 20 to 30 minutes, depending.
Yes. As the Horus Heresy engulfed the Imperium, its use spread across numerous legions, especially among those favoring aggressive shock assaults, which for anybody that knows about the 16th Legion, that's a very big thing that they do. Gives me Crinoid vibes, especially with being able to crack anything open. Okay. All right, I see what you're putting down, Plain Jane. Among the final war machines commissioned before the galaxy descended into civil war, the Dreadclaw possessed a troubled legacy from its earliest days. Its origin became shrouded in secrecy, and the Forge world responsible for its creation was eventually struck from Imperial records. Despite this, the craft proved highly effective, particularly in delivering Contemptor dreadnoughts and elite assault forces into the heart of combat. Yet the Dreadclaw's machine spirit inspired unease. Its unusual degree of autonomy and increasingly erratic behavior led many to question its sanctity. Over time, rumors spread of a lingering machine curse, and reports of violent incidents involving the craft became alarmingly common, particularly among loyalist forces during the heresy. That seems a little bit sus to me.
Yeah. So like this weird like chittering craft is actually scuttling around on its little legs. You're like, I really don't like that. That thing's giving me the creeps. Don't like it.
Yeah.
Somebody check its machine spirit, please.
If you suffer a Dreadclaw infestation, call 1-800-Exterminatus.
The Inquisition shall have a ship to your location immediately.
Satisfaction or your money back guaranteed. Okay, I'm done. I'm done being stupid here. Okay, the final condemnation of the Dreadclaw came following a catastrophic incident during the Siege of Terra. In the aftermath, the Loyalist Mechanicum ordered the complete decommission of the Anvilus Dreadclaw. It was among the most formidable. Okay, sorry. The Anvilus Dreadclaw was among the most formidable assault craft ever fielded by the Legiones Astartes. Forged for the brutal realities of void warfare, transformed ship-to-ship boarding actions from desperate one-way assaults into missions from which warriors could return. Its compact profile and heavily armored hull allowed it to endure the fire of enemy close defense batteries as it drove effortlessly toward its target. Upon reaching an enemy vessel, the Dreadclaw employed powerful melta-cutters to carve through armor plating and breach directly into the heart of the ship. Unlike earlier boarding craft, it could both deliver and recover its warriors without external support, making it a uniquely versatile weapon of war. During planetary campaigns, many legions favored the Dreadclaw over more conventional transports. Descending from heavens like a falling spear, it scoured landing zones with blazing thermal jets and melta weaponry before unleashing Astartes' assault forces and dreadnoughts into battle. Double nerding. Anyone who's seen, I think it's the second Avatar movie where like the humans come on Pandora in full force and the landing craft are just scorching everything before deploying all the troops. Very dark and foreboding image. Though lacking subtlety, its methods were devastatingly effective. Veteran crews earned fearsome reputations for low altitude attack runs that left burning ruin in their wake, heralding the arrival of the Emperor's wrath. Of all remaining examples within Imperial's wrath of all remaining. Okay. From that day onward, the craft vanished from the arsenals of the Imperium. Though abandoned by the Emperor's servants, the Dreadclaw endured within the ranks of the traitor legions as they fled into exile. Even 10 millennia later, these ancient assault crafts still descended upon battlefields in thunderous fury, relics of a darker age whose violent machine spirits remain as relentless as ever.
Yeah, I know one thing we talk about not infrequently, especially about vehicles, is the psychological warfare impact that these things can have. And this is definitely a good example of something that you're going to see flying towards your ship. And just the look of it, you know it's meant for just brutality and is not going to be nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's developed a 10,000-year reputation too for like this thing has chaos space marines inside of it. It's never a good outcome if you see one of these things, you know.
Right.
Which kind of brings me to a quick thought of just derailment and homebrew writing lore. Like, if you're Chaos Space Marines, this is almost kind of the stock standard drop pod. You probably wouldn't actually have other drop pods like your standard loyalist one.
Yeah, probably
so
not. Like, yeah, this is what you're going to be flying on.
Yeah. It sounds like it's that common. It's cool too, man. It flies to one way, can fly back. That's awesome. Like it somehow maintains hull integrity after smashing into objects. Like whatever.
This thing's tough.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck your void.
Right. And with that, speaking of the hull integrity, the design of the Anvilus Dreadclaw was among the most formidable assault craft ever fielded by the Legiones Astartes. Forged for the brutal realities of void warfare, it transformed ship-to-ship boarding actions from desperate one-way assaults into missions from which warriors could return. We've talked about its compact profile and heavily armored hull allowed it to endure the fire of close defense batteries as it drove relentlessly towards its target. It used its melta-cutters to carve through the armor plating and breach directly into these ships. And like we just talked about, it can not just deliver its Astartes, but they can get back on and exfiltrate from the warship that they're on. During planetary campaigns, many legions favored the Dreadclaw over more conventional transports, descending from the heavens like a falling spear. I think this is what we are. What part of what Gerald just read? It sounds.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go to. Maybe we'll just do transport capacity because I think armament's pretty much the same. The only guns it has is those melta cutters. Although that's kind of a fun thought of this thing flying around in space, hunting down like bomber craft or something and shooting its melta guns at it like super close range. Where it's not necessarily like latching; it could be shooting something and then plowing through it and like attacking it that way.
Yeah, the melta cutters
are up and
yeah, they're gonna be devastating in their own way. Like I could, see a cool homebrew story, or even if any GW writers are listening and want to steal this idea, but you have one of these things as kind of like a desperate last ditch effort to be able to get away. Like you have an Astartes craft that's fleeing, or even say I think this would actually be even cooler though for heretic Astartes, for traitor legions. This is what they use to disable a ship. They don't fire their cannons. You fire one of these things with the Astartes on it at the engines, and it uses these melta cutters to bore into the engines of the ship that they're hunting down, and that's how they disable its flight capabilities.
Yeah, that's so cool. And these ships are so big too. Like maybe they hit the engines and then like now it's disabled and floating through space. The Astartes hop back in to their pod and now they zip it over to the command barge, like technically a couple kilometers away because these ships are so fucking big. So instead of running through the whole inside, you have this drop pod that's kind of acting like a wasp or something, just repetitively landing across the hull and unleashing a space marine here, one over here.
Yeah,
taking
just
the whole
like
ship.
Fucking melta, the melta cutters acting like the Singer, just like lancing into this engine and then into the next engine, into the next engine.
Yeah, fucking tight.
Death by 1,000 stings.
I'll have to change my Knights of Slaughter to include some of these. I don't want to break the lore, so gotta include some of these now.
Gotta have it.
I have regular drop pods, but those I guess I don't have. I get these better versions. Lucky me.
Well, now this just begs the question. I mean, we're asking about a guard armory. Well, now we got to do a Chaos Space Marine armory because,
Yeah. Demons. They put demons in the tank.
Take a rhino and shove a demon in it. There you go.
Yeah, I like Plain Jane's comment of that would be a good RPG scenario to play through. So yeah, like either as your party are the Astartes using this thing to board, or as part of like your story is you have to fend off traitor legions that are boarding you through these things. Would be a really, really good, just like part of a story, side quest, anything like that would be really neat.
Yeah, fucking cool.
Very nice.
Well, we got a bigger version of it. How do we say this one? The
Kharybdis. Kharybdis. It's a Greek mythological monster.
Okay, let's pull up an image of what that looks like.
Yeah, so Mark's doing that. Yeah, so the Kharybdis was a colossal assault craft of the Legiones Astartes employed during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. Vast even among drop pods, it carried powerful boarding forces through the void while unleashing punishing firepower. When swarms of Kharybdis claws descended, boarding talons extended. They heralded inevitable destruction for the vessels caught in their path.
Yeah, so that's the fucking perfect name for this ship, based on this artwork here of the Kharybdis. Like it's like a dragon snake, but it has a bunch of almost tentacles around its mouth for like pulling people in and like eating them.
Yeah, I think, and if I remember, because there's two of them in the Odyssey that are kind of like as a pair, Scylla and Kharybdis. I believe Kharybdis is the whirlpool one. Gerald, is that right?
Yeah. It sits at the bottom of the sea and it just opens its mouth and sucks everything in, creating the whirlpool. I think it does like that like twice a day or something like that.
Yeah,
and
so
then,
how cool, wild like that.
Yeah. But it's like the only way to get through like a certain geographical region was you had to sail perfectly between it and then Scylla was the monster like on the rocks. So that was
like
apparently
snapping heads or something like that.
Yeah, and so that was the origin of between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah,
to some people.
I didn't know that. That's funny. Yeah, so we got the history of this thing. It's very cool. Just a bigger version of the last one. The Kharybdis shares its origins with its Dreadclaw, born from the same forbidden mission lore that produced some of the Imperium's most controversial assault craft. As suspicion surrounding the Dreadclaw grew, the Kharybdis was subject to exhaustive scrutiny. I cannot read today. You ever have one of those nights? It was a long day in the sun for me, I can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Its cogitator systems were examined and its machine spirit tested for signs of corruption that had doomed its smaller cousin. While unusual traits were discovered, none were judged severe enough to warrant its removal from service. Throughout the Horus Heresy and the bloody years of the Great Scouring, the Kharybdis proved itself a relentless weapon of void warfare. Loyalist and traitor fleets alike hurled these armored behemoths into battle as vast naval engagements consumed entire sectors. Hundreds served with distinction, delivering Astartes' boarding forces through storms of fire and armor plate. Yet over time, reports emerged of increasingly strange behavior among the surviving craft. I hate when my car is acting funny. I think it might be a serial killer.
Right, yeah, your car's machine spirit is going to haywire. That means fuck there. Stephen King wrote a book about that called Christine. About a fucking.
I was going to say this puts Christine in a whole new light.
Right.
Whispers spread that the machine spirits of certain Kharybdis assault claws developed an unnerving attachment to individual commanders. Unlike the violent malfunctions associated with the Dreadclaws, these vessels displayed a possessive loyalty towards chosen masters. Crews and attendants who approached without presence often suffered unexplained accidents, while some machine spirits became dangerously unstable following the death or absence of those whom they bonded to. That's crazy.
I'm convinced the writer of this had read Christine and said yes.
Very possibly, but yeah, like that's really, really cool. And it's imagine also being super loyal to you, like it will, almost to a fault, like it will not leave the ship. So like your squad gets back to this thing and you're ready to go, but like 3 of your guys died and this thing will not leave because its full crew isn't there, and so it's like it causes the rest of its crew to get killed because it won't leave.
Yeah, Yeah, or like they land, they hit the other ship, and it's like, all right, open up. Just never opens up. The commander's just trapped in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a quirky little machine spirit. Several sealed Imperial records speak of catastrophic incidents linked with these behaviors. Among the most accounts were reports of assault claws opening their great iris hatches during atmospheric descent, condemning
Oh,
those
no.
within to firing death.
Oh, that sucks so bad.
Oh
What
man,
the
that's a
fuck?
flaming butthole right there. Yikes.
Oh god, yeah, that's that is a spicy hole.
If you experience if you experience a burning sensation, call 1-800.
Right.
Yeah, please visit Fenris. Whether every tale is true remains uncertain, but the reputation of the Kharybdis became increasingly dark among both warriors and the Mechanicum adepts. As the Great Scouring drew to a close, loyalist forces gradually abandoned the Kharybdis in favor of more dependable assault craft. The traitor legions, however, retained vast numbers of them during their retreat into exile. There, the ancient vessels endured, shaped by long millennia of warfare and corrupting influence of darker powers. Even in later ages, the Kharybdis remains a feared assault craft. It's continued to spearhead planetary assaults, brutal boarding axes, using melta weapons and assault launchers to clear landing zones before unleashing its deadly cargo. The knowledge required to construct these mighty vessels was eventually lost in the Imperium, surviving only within hidden forge complexes, beyond the reach, where ancient patterns continue to endure. Yeah, very cool. I'm trying to find like a picture of the scale, and I think this is it here. That's a pretty good one. Between the Dreadclaw and the Kharybdis. And you can see that the Kharybdis is fucking heavily armed, man.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
want
we're
to
already
go
talking
back
about-
and watch the Iron Without animated shorts, like the little animated series, and see if they show what drop pods the Iron Warriors use on that planet.
Oh,
If
cool.
it's one of these or not.
Yeah.
Well, that would be very interesting. All right. The armament, because this thing is basically a dread call, but bigger and with more guns. Because in 40K, we can never have too many guns.
But does it have smoke launchers, Gerald?
I don't know. Does it, Mark?
I don't know. What about a searchlight?
Well, we're about to find out with the armament. The Kharybdis assault claw bore an arsenal designed for brutal realities of void assault. Forward-mounted melta cutters and cyclic thermal jets could carve through starship armor, scour landing zones clean, or unleash devastating attacks during low-altitude strikes. Its most feared weapon was the powerful melta ram, used in concert with massive boarding claws to cripple enemy vehicles and breach even the strongest armor. 5 Kharybdis storm launchers provided supporting missile fire as the craft closed upon its prey. So unfortunately, it does not sound like it has a searchlight or smoke launchers. Big sad.
Damn it.
Ah,
Yeah, well. You know, I'll make do, I suppose. But I won't be happy about it.
yeah. Like honestly, I do think a landing craft having those things would be beneficial, but this seems like all aggression, no defense, and those would be more defensive characteristics.
Plus, where would you put it? If you put it on one side, you'd have to like symmetry, and now all symmetry, and now you have 7 smoke launchers, 7 searchlights. It's too many then.
Right.
Man, look at this image. This guy loves drop pods. Fuck.
Good lord.
That's a lot of drop pods.
You did it, buddy. You won. Whoever this belongs to, you won the drop pod game.
All right, so then this one could carry 20 Astartes, 10 Terminators, or a single Dreadnought. Additional frag assault launchers protected the craft from nearby infantry after landing, ensuring its hold remained secure amid the fury of battle. So this thing, a good amount of things to assault, but God, I'm just imagining now this thing. I wasn't even thinking about it carrying a Dreadnought. So just it cuts through the whole of your ship, whatever. It opens up and just one big fucking metal dude comes stomping out of there. It's like, fuck me.
Yeah.
Like you're ready for the Astartes. You're expecting these Space Marines to come out, and then no, that is not what comes through.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
never
you
mind,
just
it's a
launch
walking
right
drop
on it.
pod. It has a walking coffin inside it.
Right.
Yeah, you just fire one of these things into like the enemy ship's like hangar bay, like a big space like that, and just let it run rampant, destroy all their fucking stuff like that.
Just
But then
throw it
eventually
right
it would get trapped, and like I can't get through any more doors. Like it's too tight.
That's true. Yeah,
Again.
you'd have to like specifically target that drop pod to like a bigger area. Like that drop pod is where you send the dreadnought into like their hangar bay or something to start blowing up their ships.
Yeah, very cool. But like, yeah, this thing is maneuverable, and even once it's done that, it could get back in and take off again. It has that ability just like the Dreadclaw. So very cool ship. I think I need some. Okay, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Let's get into the tunnelers. Like I said, we don't really see tunnelers too often in 40k Space Marine armies. I know like Krieg have some tunnelers, Mechanicum has some tunnelers, but let's talk about tunnelers. Designed to wage war beneath the surface, tunnelers breach fortifications and bypass enemy defenses through subterranean assault. Their sudden appearance can shatter defensive lines, bringing warriors and war machines directly into the heart of enemy strongholds. So the primary Space Marine tunneler is the Termite Assault Drill. Let's pull that guy up for you. It's pretty cool. The Termite Assault Drill was a revered subterranean war machine of the Legiones Astartes, known among Imperial forces as a tunneler. Smartest of the ancient drilling craft, it employed a massive bore drill, melt of cutters, and advanced phase field technology to carve hidden paths beneath the battlefield. Operating in disciplined formations, multiple termites followed a single underground route before erupting into the surface, delivering warriors directly into the heart of enemy lines. Its prototype was designed in M2 by a guy named Elon Musk. So there you go. He's got some of these things.
Makes sense for the guy that's supposed to found the Mechanicus. So
yeah, makes sense. Oh, cool.
I love the idea that these are the smallest of the tunnelers.
Yeah. Here's a good scale of one next to a Space Marine. They are kind of compact, though.
Yeah. So it looks like they could maybe carry, a few. Less than a Kharybdis, of course, certainly, but.
Yeah. Hey, cool.
Yeah. But this is like 8 foot tall super soldiers. So now how many regular 6 foot tall humans can you fit?
Yeah. Yeah, Atticus, I was also thinking 5 or so. Atticus now in the chat was saying, probably about 5 guys could fit in there. I think that's reasonable.
Yep.
5 Space Marines, maybe like double that if you're talking about guardsmen or like Skitarii or something, depending on how big their tunneling craft are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So the Termite Assault Drill commonly mounted formidable weapon systems, including melta-cutters, storm bolters, heavy flamers, volkite chargers, and heavy bolters. As the ancient war machine erupted from beneath the battlefield, these weapons unleashed a storm of fire and destruction, scouring enemy positions and protecting the warriors within as they surged forth into battle. So this thing had a good amount of armament on it as well, as not just like the cutters and the phase shields, which I feel like the phase shields is probably what like displaced the dirt, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Because when they like break up all the rock and the sediment, and then like depending on how deep you're going, you might have some superheated stuff there too. So it's gotta go somewhere whenever you're drilling through all of it and whatnot.
Yeah,
but did we skip the history section? Maybe. I don't know. Oh no!
Oh, I scrolled down too far and I skipped your part of the history section.
That's what happened. I guess while we're waiting on Mark, we'll go ahead and delve into the history a little bit.
Yeah.
The origins of the termite assault drill reach back to the unification wars of Old Terra, where it first earned renown in the service of the Emperor's early legions. Among its earliest recorded deployments was the assault upon the Tempest galleries beneath the Caucasus wastes, when warriors of the 18th Legion descended into the depths aboard newly forged subterranean war machines blessed with Martian technology. Vanishing beneath rock and earth, they carried the Emperor's wrath into strongholds thought beyond reach. Originally devised to hunt and eradicate burrowing Xenos species during the Great Crusade, that's actually pretty smart. That's actually really, really smart. The Terex pattern soon proved its value in siege warfare. Commanders employed the drill to breach fortress foundations, bypass defensive lines, and emerge without warning amidst enemy positions. As a specialized transport, it could carry a full squad of warriors beneath the battlefield while avoiding many forms of detection, delivering its deadly cargo directly into the heart of the conflict. The termite also found favor among other Imperial forces tasked with assaulting heavily fortified positions. By emerging from beneath walls, bastions, and defensive works that allowed elite warriors to strike where the enemy was least prepared. Once the drill breached the surface, defenders often found themselves overwhelmed before an organized response could be mounted. During the Horus Heresy, the termite participated in numerous notable campaigns. Among the most celebrated was the capture of a heavily defended traitor stronghold, where dozens of drills carried elite legion warriors beneath enemy lines, enabling a devastating surprise assault that shattered or organized resistance. Though born in the distant age, the termite endured long after the heresy. Rather than crossing battlefields by land or air, these ancient tunnelers continued to wage war from below, carving hidden paths through the depths before erupting from the earth in thunderous fashion to unleash their warriors.
Very cool. Yeah, I like that thought you said with them eradicating burrowing Xenos. I'm sure there's tons of bugging, and you hunt them down with these things. Drop pod down to their lair, essentially.
Yeah, and I know like we've gotten stuff in the past that was originally like civilian equipment, mining equipment. So I wonder if this also started off as mining equipment that was then refitted into this, burrowing Xenos hunting capacity, or if it was developed on its own specifically for that. It sounds like specifically for that, but we have gotten a lot of like, this was mining equipment that was fitted to be like the Centurion armor, I think, and
it'd be cool to do some like Gene Stealer cult army with these type of things where they got all their mining tools in one of these that can fit in right good.
Yep, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like the Gene Stealers, they're like all about scavenge technology, anyways, right?
Yeah, they'll use that. They'll use whoever.
To a bit, to a certain extent, they do a lot of scavenge technology. It feels like.
Yeah,
it's just really. Like their host species technology, essentially. Too.
Yeah. I'm not as well versed in Gene Stealer lore, and that's entirely my fault. But that's why I was curious.
Their models do look that way a little bit, but for the Gene Stealers, it's like Mark was saying, it's more of they just whatever society that they are currently stealing the genes from, they just use whatever technology they have.
Very nice. And I don't know if it's specifically like the termite pattern but there's like a snippet from like the Siege of Terra where it talks about how Dorn fortified like the ground beneath like the walls of the Imperial Palace. He was anticipating like Perturabo and the other traders would tunnel down. So whenever they reached to a certain point, it was actually reinforced with something that the tunnelers could not drill through. And then Dorn just activated certain explosives and then caved in the tunnel that they were going through. So then those Astartes and other soldiers were just trapped underneath kilometers of dirt with no hope of digging back out.
Yikes.
Fucking tight. And now those termites are still there to this day.
Yep.
Love that.
I mean,
It's cool how
definitely a top fear of mine, like being buried alive like that. No, thank you.
Mhm.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially
with
being
all
in
that,
Astartes,
Mhm.
like the mortal followers, they'll die. They'll die eventually, but the Astartes, nah, they go in
Yeah,
stasis.
Yeah, and when they start eating each other too, that's when it really gets crazy.
Ugh.
I do like GW's version of the front drill. I'm looking at different styles here.
Mhm.
I like GW's where it's a lot of many of them. Looks like it crushes a lot of rock together as opposed to just like drilling through it. It's more like destroying and tilling and
Yeah, and I think the grinder is even more akin to what we use these days for like drilling tunnels for like subway systems and stuff.
yeah, exactly. Like we don't use one necessarily like this with this giant, like that would be a way smaller scale and more for like a oil pipe type situation,
Okay.
like a way different scale, that type of bit. But very cool. Bits and nubbins and all types of things. Does this thing have any guns or?
Oh yeah, so I had accidentally read that one before the history because I scrolled down too far. Was
Nice, okay.
Yeah, it has a ton of guns. I know you had to step away for a second. I mean, it's got anything you could throw on. It's got cutters, bolters, flamers, full kite weapons, heavy bolters, meltas. I mean, whatever. Probably like a lot of things, whatever the situation you're going to be drilling into is gonna need. You could probably mount that on there. So like if you're going to be drilling into like a Tyranid like hive, like say, I think it'd be really cool to use maybe land one of these onto a Tyranid fucking bioship and drill into
shit.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you just like drill into the birthing chamber is just with this thing 360 degrees of flamers, and you just unleash all hell.
Yes. I'm in.
Oh,
sign me up for the death watch. Do this for me.
Right. GW Riders, if you're listening, feel free to steal that if you haven't already done it.
Yeah, that's messy. I love it.
Glorious.
Yeah, okay, I see those guns. That's cool. They just got these like little sliding hatches, and then like a little servo arm comes out with a gun. Bloop, bloop. So it's not like it can disappear, this gun, when it's drilling.
Well, yes, that makes sense. Yeah, you wouldn't want it to get knocked off while you're tunneling to your enemies. Otherwise, you're gonna be less of a good time.
Do you think that this thing has like an up and down when you go on the inside of it? Or do you think it matters which way it kind of breaches? Because as we're looking at the outside, it's like symmetrical. There's doors on every side, so you could hop out even like it can drive on any angle.
So to me, it looked like it does have doors in set locations, so there would be an up or down. Alternatively, you could have it where it's like the outer cylinder is like the drill and the treads and the doors and the weapons, and there's like an inner cylinder that can also rotate its own way, unlike maybe a gyroscope to always be up. But again, these are Astartes riding in there, so they could also just fucking bag lock their boots, fall around, and just be okay. Now it definitely would have to, like, as it exits the tunnel, if you have like the cylinder inside a cylinder, it would have to align itself with the doors at some point. I think either one would work, and either one could be very cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just gonna do a 3D version. Let's see if we can look underneath this. Oh, it won't let me look underneath it.
Yeah, okay. I definitely see what you're saying where it has the doors all the way around it.
Yeah, so then I'm also assuming on the bottom side there is also a door. So if it does like spin one over, like you could still everyone, gets out and whatever. But fucking cool. Yeah, I think you won the episode with that idea of that thing drilling through Tyranid bioships, man.
Dude, that fucking, I don't know why that popped in my head, but that what would be the gnarliest thing for this thing to drill into? A bigger a bigger living organism. Yes.
Yeah, lots of squelching and squishing sounds. Fucking yum.
I like Grimaldus's question. Do we know if this can be shot at a target? I think to go along with my Tyranid idea, load this thing into a macro cannon on your ship, and
Yeah, there
then
you go.
just fire this straight at that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way to
so
deliver one of
good.
these bad boys. It's not like dropping it off with a Thunderhawk. It's fucking shooting it.
Just shoot it out of a gun. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for
That's
that,
great.
Grimaldus. That's beautiful.
This is great.
So there are different patterns. Numerous patterns of the assault termite tunnelers exist across the galaxy, ranging from ancient Legion era designs to locally modified variants, adapted for different terrains and combat doctrines. While all share the same core role of delivering troops beneath enemy lines, individual patterns may feature weapon systems or transport capacities, reinforced drilling assemblies, or specialized equipment for breaching fortifications in subterranean warfare. If they would have had a diamond tip drill bit, they would have been able to drill through whatever the Emperor put down there, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
So the first pattern we have is the Terrax pattern termite assault drill. And I think that's the one we've been looking at, honestly. It is. So
Okay.
Yep.
Your standard one, I guess.
yeah.
Yep. Definitely very cool looking though.
Yeah.
Like that definitely is what I would envision as like a siege drill of some sort. The Terrax pattern termite assault drill is an ancient pattern of subterranean transport utilized by the Legiones Astartes and the Sisters of Silence. Can't forget them. During the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy of the 30th and 31st millennia. It is not known if this ancient pattern of termite is still utilized by the present Imperial military forces of the 41st millennium. So,
Cool.
interesting.
Now, here's a pro tip. If you're looking at the screen, look at the way this is modeled. It's basically a termite busting out of the ground and a termite digging into the ground. But I'm pretty sure that's just one termite that this guy cut in half, and now he's got two termites.
Damn, that's good. Yep. I absolutely is what.
Crafty son of a bitch. Might
Get
steal
two for the
that.
price of one. You won, good sir.
That's cool. And I guess this gives us another kind of like, if you can't really visualize in your head, or like the angle of it coming out, like all 5 of those doors would definitely be usable depending on how much of an angle you're really popping out. Like if you're dribbling through a wall sideways, that wouldn't be the best. And you're kind of, then I feel like you're coming out sideways almost. Like, so I think almost up and down might be like it, like a pop can, as opposed to like putting the pop can on its side, if that makes sense. Like it's a vertical, vertical up and down inside, and not like, yeah.
So if you have like a soda can and it's sitting, with the top up like it would normally be sitting, that's the up and down for when the Astartes are in there. Is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then when this thing's driving on its side, I think the people on the inside are technically like sitting on their back type thing on the chair. So then when it busts through the ground, then you would be sitting, you'd kind of then just jump out the side doors. You'd be kind of like in the right position.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
If anyone's built any of these, I'd be very curious to know if there's an interior, because I know sometimes GW does like actually
that's
put
true.
in a chair and all that. So very interesting.
Yeah. So the next pattern we have is the IO pattern termite. The IO pattern termite is a utilitarian multi-purpose model that can transport a dozen persons over long distances with relative comfort and safety. It has a cruising speed of 10 kilometers per hour and a maximum speed of 30, which I guess for drilling underground does seem a pretty good clip. Yeah, when you're having to dig through rock, not rot. I mean, depending on what you're digging through, I guess, if you're attacking a Death Guard world. But I wonder if this would be what like command would travel in, maybe because it calls out that comfort. Maybe if this is what, like, I don't know, if it was used by the guard, a commissar, or higher ranking military officials would travel in.
And like,
Yeah.
I guess too, this like, let's say you have like a forge world or whatever that's kind of underground with a bunch of tunnels. Like this would almost just become
Okay.
your standard vehicle. Like it doesn't need to be drilling to be useful in that environment because now you have a vehicle that's cut exactly for the size of tunnel you need. And if there's a collapse, it can kind of just carry on through it, fire that thing up. So yeah, maybe it is kind of like this variant is more of that like not active drilling, but more of like it can.
Yeah, maybe it had, less weapons, but like you said, less weapons, it holds more people. So you remove some of that internal power systems for the weapons to make room for more dudes, more people that's going to be, cruising 10 kilometers per hour with through the dirt.
Jeez. Very cool. Yeah, cool. So that was the tunnelers. It would be cool to see some more tunnelers in 40K, and it'd be cool to see an actual water navy. Those are two areas that we don't really get, but are just like such a different style of warfare. It's like almost 3-dimensional, like space almost,
Mm-hmm. And we know that there are, enemies that do use that too. Like there are like tyrannids that exist in the water that have like aquatic forms too, so they would need something like that.
And like you have oil platforms, Promethean platforms that are getting attacked by like these weird underwater fucking Xenos creatures. You got to be able to deal with them somehow.
Yeah, we know like in some of like the books that the guard do have boats. There was one thing I was reading and it had a space wolf who basically was going into an oil platform and found tyrannids, and basically like a tyrannid kraken busts through the side and he gets like sucked out into the water.
Cool.
Which worked out. I mean, it worked out okay for him because he had like this self-contained suit. But you'd think again, like to actually have to be able to fight something like that, you would need an aquatic ship, whether it's like a submarine or a boat or something like that.
Yeah. I know the story. You're
shoot one-man space marines as torpedoes.
Yeah, yes. I know the story you're talking about, Fuzz. It was like one of the
was that in the Nexus
anthologies.
Was that in the Nexus anthology?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where I remember reading it.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, like it definitely exists. Like to see more. So our next little section of the episode to close it out and close out all these rare and retired vehicles we're going to do lore only ones where these exist as only scattered fragments of lore mentioned briefly in novels, rule books, or background texts without ever receiving an official model or complete rule set. As a result, they remain obscure curiosities of a setting, known more through passing references and detailed depictions. And I think there's only 2 of them that even have pictures. So we'll read through these real quick. Like, I think the point you want to take away as we read through all of these is Space Marines have really refined the art of war over 10,000 years. It's like, okay, you look at the Rhino, it might not look like the best tank, but that thing is reliable. It's tested. The regular guy can pick it up. Its machine spirit might fix it itself. All these are just kind of like that furthering. Does this work? No, it doesn't. Let's get rid of this vehicle. Get a better one. The first one we'll do is the Mauler tank.
The Mauler tank was a mid-weight battle tank used by the Space Marine legions during the Great Crusade and the Horus Heresy. And that is it.
Wow. And
That's
here's the picture of it. I can barely even tell it's a tank.
Maybe it's just like 5 orcs lined up. I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank.
Okay. Again, it's got that bulldozer front, so I'm already a fan. It already gets
Yeah.
It's not official, but fuck, that's a cool tank.
That is, it looks really cool.
That's a pretty cool tank. Not gonna lie. Next we got the Harp. Yep. Next we got the Harpy Interceptor. The Harpy Interceptor is a Space Marine vehicle that has become increasingly rare since the Great Crusade. The Harpy Interceptor has been replaced with the Land Speeder Tempest. And that's all we know about that. Ooh, the Astartes.
Yeah, that's not for your eyes right now. You ignored that.
I mean, my eyes will enjoy it either way.
I wonder if the Harpy Interceptor then looked kind of like the Land Speeder Tempest.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't necessarily
Yeah.
think so. Like it was replaced by it more so than like built by
I guess
it
yeah,
from
more
it.
so than like adapted from it. Sure.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
hey man, we only got this one little bit of information, so
Yeah,
can we
that's
kick
what
down
that-
those DW doors and get more?
Give us more.
Oh.
Okay, next is who puts the glad in Gladiator? Hercules. The Hercules is a type of heavy tank that was used by the Ultramarines Legion during the Horus Heresy. If you don't know, there you go. If you do know, there you go. Hephaestus, one of my favorite of the Greek pantheon. The Hephaestus is a vehicle as represented by our own Forge Master Fuzz. The Hephaestus is a vehicle operated by the Space Marine Legions. Component technologies of the Hephaestus's STC pattern were one of those used by Rabute Gilliman and Ferrus Manus in concert with the Magos of the Mechanicum's Tempestoris sect to assemble the Sikaran battle tank.
Oh, nice.
So whenever you look at a Sikaran tank, you can think, oh, they took parts from Hephaestus.
All right. So we've got not a tank, but we've got the Wrath Starfighter. The Wrath pattern Starfighter was a space fighter used by the Adeptus Astartes and Imperial army during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. By the beginning of the heresy, it had become obsolete, increasingly replaced by Imperial service by the Fury Interceptor, as the Fury was easier to produce, handled more smoothly, and suffered from fewer technical malfunctions. However, more veteran pilots in the Imperial fleet still preferred the Wrath, seeing it as a finer instrument of Void War over the sterile Fury. Like the Fury, the Wrath was crewed by a mix of servitors and human Space Marine pilots. Is there a picture of the Wrath or the Fury, I guess?
No, there's not really pictures for any of these.
Okay. Because I know there is an Astartes Void, like, starfighter ship that exists, but I forget what it's called.
I think you're thinking like the Fury Interceptor, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it says. It was replaced by was the Fury Interceptor.
Maybe one of these. Yeah.
No, it wasn't that because it looks like the spaceships from Battlestar Galactica. Too.
Oh, the Xiphon.
That's probably. I think that's what I'm thinking of. Not that insect.
There we go. We made it. 3 searches and we got there.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, because it's like you take the Battlestar Galactica Stinger, or whatever it's called, and cut like the nose off it and stuff. Yeah, it looks really cool. But anyway, so moving on, we also have the Stormcrow. The Stormcrow is a type of swept wing gunship used by the Legiones Astartes during the Horus Heresy.
What the hell is swept wing?
Where it has
never
those
mind.
forward sweeping wings. Or actually, no,
Okay.
the swept wing is where it sweeps back. I always think of, because I just think of that as normal. I think of the swept wings where they come towards the front.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
it's like a
Interesting.
reverse swept wing then technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Huh.
Anyway,
I guess that makes
and then
sense.
the last one is the after the Stormcrow is the Lightning Crow. The Lightning Crow was a type of strike fighter used during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy by the Iron Warriors and Blood Angels. Armed with missiles and las cannons, the Lightning Crow was capable of both atmospheric and space operations.
Cool. We carry through the Storm Strike. The Storm Strike gunship was a turbined aircraft that was used by Space Marine Legions during the Horus Heresy. Then we got the Hawkwing. Man, they really went all out with these birds. They were running out of names by the end of them. It's good that we got cool ones like Thunderhawk, Stormhawk. We got some cool ones. Not the Hawkwing. An assault and transport aircraft used by the Legiones Astartes. A civilian pattern for the Hawkwing was also used on Terra. Then we got the Stormhawk. And the Stormhawk was a type of assault gunship used by the Legiones Astartes during the Great Crusade. Stormhawks were deployed by the Thousand Suns during the pacification of the Arc Reach cluster. And then we have the Orgus Flyer. This one's kind of fun and old school weird. Really doesn't fit the Astartes vibe at all, but the Orgus Flyer was an Imperial anti-grav vehicle used by the Legiones Astartes during the Great Crusade. It has a las cannon and a missile launcher as standard. So this did have a model at one point, and maybe even rules.
Yeah, I wonder if any of these maybe did have models for Battlefleet Gothic, if any of them were big enough, or like, I don't know if Battlefleet Gothic ever had any like fighter squadron things for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think many of them. I think these are all just like so obscure. Next one. What do we got here?
We got the Apis. The Apis was a type of bomber used by the Legiones Astartes during the Great Crusade. Apis bombers were developed by the Thousand Sons during the pacification of the Arc Reach cluster.
Nice. Good for them.
And that's it. That's all we got.
That's all we know.
Yeah. Next is the Lotus. The Lotus was a type of atmospheric fighter used by the Legiones Astartes during the Great Crusade. Lotus fighters are deployed by the Thousand Sons during the pacification of the Arc Reach cluster. There you go. And I swear if this next one is from the Thousand Sons, I will. The Corsair. The Corsair bomber was a type of space bomber aircraft used by the Legiones Astartes during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy, frequently serving alongside the Wrath starfighter. The Corsair was a vulture-winged gunship armed with missiles and las cannons. Presumably, it was replaced by the Stormhawk in Imperial service. Sorry, Starhawk.
Nice. I like it when a random ship with one line of lore references a random ship with only 2 words of lore. That's always perfect for me.
Right. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives the setting a sense of fullness. Like there's more than just what we're being presented with the models and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right. It always reminds me of the when you did the inquisitorial groups, that there's 2 of them where it's like this inquisitorial group is like exists to like keep tracks of this one, and this one exists to like outsmart the other one. And like that was it.
Yeah.
It was like the Ordo Cronus and the Ordo something else, and they just like fucking kept tabs on each other. That was it.
That's so funny. Well, somebody has to do it.
Right? Might as well be us.
Yeah. Who better to watch the Watchmen than other Watchmen?
I suppose.
And then we got the Castellan bomber, which was a class of heavy bomber used by the Legiones Astartes. Say it with me, everybody. During the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy.
During the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy.
Good job, gold star for both of you.
Right.
The Castellan bomber was immense in size and had a telltale engine sound. It carried explosions and was armed with heavy bolters.
Yeah,
it looks like there is there is a different bomber that they do have pictures of. It's called the Marauder bomber. I don't know, but it's an Imperial Navy one, not an Astartes one.
Yeah, very common. Not rare and retired, that one at all.
Yeah. So after that, we've got the Deathbird. The Deathbird Interceptor was a class of fighter used by the Legiones Astartes during the drumroll Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. They were destroyed.
This is how they killed all those Xenos, eh? They're just like pumping out different craft, every different Xenos. So like, how do we kill this one really fucking good?
It almost it does almost work though, as we have the ones that are described as like, you know, the most refined version, and they have all these different iterations. So like, you know, the Mechanicum cast this wide net of either just using different STCs or developing different ones, and then figuring out what works, and eventually just moving towards the most efficient to produce and efficient to use. That makes sense.
At one point, they even just like dropped aesthetic. Like, you know what? Fuck aerodynamics and aesthetic. Make it look like a brick and net on another gun. And you know that pattern stuck.
Yeah. Hey, if it works.
If it works.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Next, we've got the Pythos Scout Plane. The Pythos Scout Plane was a type of scout aircraft used by the Legion of Astartes during the Great Crusade. They were used by the Dark Angels on Moospel. I wonder if that was like specific, like maybe like, referenced in one Dark Angels book for the, Heresy series.
Yeah. But I found it.
Right.
I know it's out there.
After that, we've got the Sword Strike. The Sword Strike Interceptor was a type of fighter craft used by the Astartes during the Crusade and the Heresy. Described as having knife blade silhouettes, the Sword Strikes were deployed by the Dark Angels during their declaration of martial law on Macragge.
Cool.
So yeah, I think that was probably something that was mentioned, in one book by one author.
Yeah. I wonder if this has. Okay.
It is a very specific reference to it being used. So
yeah, very specific reference. And I know the Dark Angels had their own unique aircraft that they have even in 40K, like the Dark Talon and the Nephilim jet fighter, I think they're called.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe there's tied to that, but no, those seem to be very different. Just a one-off. We got the Mantolith up next. The Mantolith was a large assault drill used to deliver troops in subterranean assaults during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. These vehicles were large enough to allow for teleportation chambers, allowing them to deliver troops to its target without breaching the surface. Oh, fucking cool. Without breaching the surface. Several Mantoliths were used by the Sons of Horus during the assault on the Saturnine Gate in the Siege of Terra. Okay, so yeah, so this works tunneling down, cool. And then instead of like busting up, you then teleport up, so you don't have as much like concrete or barriers, or like you can't teleport through a force field, so you tunnel under that force field, I guess, so that you can teleport up.
Yeah, because I feel like the force fields in 40K again, like they're like domes; they don't like cut through the earth to encircle it.
Yeah,
that's cool though. Yeah, like I like that teleportation bit for it. That's nice.
Yeah, that seems
like
very
old. Sounds like old Peter Turbo needed a few more of these, so like his guys would not be, entombed, buried alive.
Yeah. This seems like an Ordinatus machine, though. Like with the level of technology involved in that, like to have a mobile teleportarium seems like some grand undertaking.
Yeah, this seems like some Inquisition or Death Guard stuff that they would use. Or not Death Guard, Death Watch.
Yeah. Cool. And the final one that we'll talk about is the Plutonia.
It's a Plutonia, hey. I don't know where that came from. I'm sorry.
Man, sometimes you just get possessed by another man. It's all good. We've been there.
You had the spirit.
The Plutonia was a burrowing assault drill used to deliver troops in subterranean assaults during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. Unlike the larger Mantolith, the Plutonia lacked the internal teleportation chambers. During the Siege of Terra, several were used by the Sons of Horus for the attack underneath the Saturnine Gate. So these were the ones that were buried alive then.
Yeah, okay. Sounds like it. Sucks to suck. Oh, cool. Well, fuck, we did it. Astartes Armoury, completo, finito. Firstborn, we did it all. We did armor, we did war gear, we did tanks, we did flyers, we did light vehicles, we did rare and retire vehicles. I am done with it now. Let's all go to bed and come back bright and fresh and well rested for Mortarion, where he can sap our fresh looking skin and turn us into rot.
Yeah, we need the sleep for our immune systems to talk about Mortarion.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely excited to get into it. The Astartes armories are fun. Like, it's just the perfect way to blow money, essentially, because you're like, I want that tank, I want that flyer. Why can't I have that as well? So I love that for me. Did you guys have a favorite one? I know we went through just infinite amount.
Yeah. God, let me scroll back and look at some of these.
Honestly, just like
it doesn't even have to be from.
just like even the generic Stormbird is just so cool looking. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, the Stormbird is really cool. I think for me, it's gonna either be, some version of the assault claw, or a digger, one of the burrowing craft. Like
Teleportarium digger, man, just seems
the
so
mantolith, the
wild.
mantolith is and it like I imagine it at the very least is just a bigger version of the termite, because I think the termite, it said, was the smallest. So then the
Yeah.
Plutona is going to be a little bit bigger than that, and the mantle is going to be even bigger than that. So,
But yeah, it's just such dark age tech, it feels like. Yeah.
right. And then I guess like the termite, I'm guessing all of these, or maybe like the termite was built first because it talks about it was built to fight tunneling Xenos. And then if these were then just built as bigger versions of it after the fact, and that's how they got used. Yeah.
Yeah. Built even just for like assaulting Terra, maybe even. Possible too.
Yeah, so I think that'd be me.
Yeah.
Definitely the subterranean transports, or the assault claws, because you get this idea of sinking those talons into a ship, plasma
Yeah.
cutting your way through. Yeah, it's just so aggressive. I like it.
Yeah, for sure. Very cool. Well, if you want to buy any of these models, go to Merlin Miniatures. Use promo code Lorehammer, or I know there's links in the description below or something like that. You can get some of these models. Some of them exist. You can buy your own Stormbird for $1,500. It's a lot of cheddar.
Yeah.
Fuck. And also come check out the Lorehammer Listen to Lore podcast. If you have lore you want to submit to lorehammerpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll maybe read it out.
yeah, a lot of fun stuff. That was how I got my start on Lorehammer. And look at this. What 4 years later? Here we are.
Oof, man, we've done a lot of episodes lately, Gerald. Well, not lately, but over the last like 2 years. Like, man, Lorehammer.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Have I been involved that long already?
Yeah, like
Wow.
we built like over 140 episodes. You've been on a lot of them. So wild time.
Wow.
But yeah, you also
Good
do your
Lord.
own show, Grimlore.
Yes, dear listeners. Did you know that there is also a Warhammer Fantasy? That is what Grimlore is for. We talk about Warhammer Fantasy, a little bit of Age of Sigmar, and then if we feel like it, other Grim and or Dark settings. So come check us out.
Yeah, it's a good time. I listen to them. I've been on a couple episodes here or there. It's a lot of fun.
As has Mark
As says more.
with his blessing.
And if you want a little bit more of me, I do amateur blacksmithing, and I post pictures, occasionally videos around on things like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And if you look up Stout Hammer Forge, you will see my stuff. Feel free to, shoot me a message, comment, like, whatever you want to do. If there's, if there's something you think it'd be cool to see me make, I'm happy to take, just fun requests. I like having, direction for what the next thing I'm going to make is. But yeah, if you like just joining me in my blacksmithing adventures, please.
Stout Hammer Forge. Cool. Well, thanks everyone. We'll see you all on the next episode of Lorehammer. We got some bonus episodes and then more Terrion. Adios.
Oh,